What's the ratio between good-looking and ugly quarterbacks?
Well, I think obviously the 0 on the scale is Blake Bortles. Talk about that guy. He's an NFL player nominally, but he's not great in terms of talent and not good looking either.
Oh, Blake Bortles?
Yeah.
I can't put Blake Bortles right now because he nearly beat us, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for coming out once again for another edition of the Dan vs. D Sports and Stuff podcast, DVD for short, aka DVD player. I'm your player, D with 2 E's, and always by my side is
Dan with an A-N. Definitely physically by your side right now. Not actually.
Spiritually, he's by my side.
Yes. No.
Spiritually, yeah.
Ooh, sorry. I turned monitoring on for my microphone and it was really disorienting.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is gonna be kind of weird because we have like a 40-minute segment that we cut last week, or actually no, 2 weeks ago, a Super Bowl preview / playoff preview. Or no, we released a Super Bowl preview. We did not release our playoffs and reviews segment, so that's may or may not be in this episode. Who knows? But
that could be a lost episode. Lost episode.
Yeah, right. The lost tapes. It'll be like the lost Mike Francesa tapes. Solidarity's a goddamn joke. The pretense only tricks you. Take account of tearing to shreds. Makes us all equal in the end. Oh. But anyway, the reason we are convening here today is some crazy stuff happened today, mostly regarding the Cavaliers.
The Cleveland Cavaliers.
Do they even get to be called the Cavaliers anymore, or are they just a completely different franchise?
I mean, they still are the Cavaliers because they still got like crappy Dan Gilbert running the show.
I guess. What a weird. So a brief summary of what happened today. I'm sure you've seen it, but the Cleveland basically dumped their entire roster other than LeBron today. They traded away Isaiah Thomas, Channing Frye, Iman Shumpert, Jay Crowder, Derrick Rose, and they sent Dwayne Wade back to the Heat for basically a pack of Big League Chew.
Wait, so, Dwayne Wade went back to the Heat?
Yep. They shipped him for a 2020 first or second round pick, sorry. So something basically of no value.
But he was good in the second unit, though. That doesn't make any sense.
I really think that
doesn't make any sense.
It's got to be that basically LeBron made this decision, right? Like, that's the only thing that really makes sense is that LeBron basically went, okay, this team's not working. I want a new one. Right? Like that. And man, his buddy Dwayne, his buddy Derrick Rose, all those guys, all gone.
Wait, where did Derrick Rose go to?
Derrick Rose went to the Jazz.
Oh my God.
And Jay Crowder went to the Jazz too.
Wait, Crowder's gone too?
Yep.
So all the assets that they got from the Celtics, they just basically put on the chopping block or just like shipped them off?
Yes. So here's what Cleveland sent away today.
So y'all basically got Kyrie Irving for free. You got him for free.
Well, I mean, we still gave up those assets.
You basically got Kyrie Irving for free.
But so here's
Yeah, you gave them up, but like they didn't even utilize theirs.
Yeah. Here's what Cleveland sent away. They sent away Isaiah Thomas, Channing Frye, Mon Shumpert, Derrick Rose, Jay Crowder, Dwayne Wade, a first-round pick, and I'm sorry, that was Miami's 2020 second-round pick that they sent away. Actually, no, I think that's wrong, because they, who the hell knows? Doesn't matter. Oh, I see. They got the second round pick from Miami and then immediately sent it to the Kings. I see. That was confusing.
Wait, where did Amon Shumpert go to?
Okay, so Shumpert went to the Kings.
Oh gosh, that's bad.
And Rose and Crowder went to the Jazz. And then Dwayne Wade went back to the Heat. And not to sleep on this part either, Isaiah Thomas and Channing Frye went to the Lakers. So, IT, man, he suddenly is now on the Celtics' most hated rival. So that's a thing. But man, I love IT, man, and it's like he really wasn't in Boston that long, but really did so much to endear himself to the fans there, and man, I really appreciate him, but man, he was not good when he came back to the Cavs.
Yeah, I think I remember looking online. This is like his fourth team in like 4.5 years.
Yeah. And I mean, what's weird is that, I'd never even really heard of him until like I kind of knew that there was an okay guy in the NBA also named Isaiah Thomas now. But, like, I'd never seen him play. I'd never watched a game that he played in. And he kind of overnight became a superstar in Boston. But there's this very weird pattern now where Brad Stevens has got some, like, Patriots secret sauce that he's secretly spraying in guys' Mountain Dew Code Red or something. Because, like, his players are just suddenly dramatically dropping in value as soon as they leave the team. It's ridiculous. Can you ever remember anything like this? Because I certainly can't. A team moving so many players.
I mean, they're blowing up a team mid-season.
Yeah, and I mean they've got LeBron, so they're gonna make the playoffs. But like, man, I've never seen this before. I really haven't. I guess you can only really do it in basketball where the rosters are so small.
That team is trash, though, defensively.
I guess it can't get much worse, right? Maybe they should start Malcolm Butler.
Man. But I don't know, man. Like, was it good moves by the Cavaliers, or is it just like too much of a drastic change, like at this point of the season?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm looking at what they got. I'm not super familiar with Rodney Hood or George Hill, or actually really any of the players they got back. So
Rodney Hood and George Hill are good.
So here's their roster currently constructed now. George Hill, Jordan Clarkson, Jose Calderon, LeBron, Rodney Hood, J.R. Smith, Jeff Green, C.D. Osman, Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love, Larry Nance Jr. and Ante Zizic. Obviously, Kevin Love is hurt and is going to be out for a while. So, a weird roster. And they have two open roster spots as well, so it's sort of like, hey, who wants to come play with LeBron? But yeah, man, the Cavs are a basketball team, or at least they were a basketball team yesterday. I'm not really sure what they are now.
Bro, they need to call the great prophet Sam Hinkie so he can return their basketball team to Cleveland.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hadn't seen the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2 years, but
did you just say the Cleveland? The Cleveland?
The Cleveland.
The Cleveland. The Cleveland.
I haven't seen the Cleveland Cavaliers in a couple of years since our divorce.
Hey.
But they knocked on my door this morning and I saw them begging on their knees.
Yo, what if like how can the Cleveland Cavaliers win their court case? Court case.
They're gonna need some strong litigation from James Smith and Thompson, the law firm. So here's the other part of this that I think is really interesting. Is so because Kyrie is young and he's a flat earther and is a kind of weird. I think everyone basically assumed when he wanted to be traded that he was an immature kid who with an ego, basically, right? Like I think that's fair to say that was pretty much the public perception of him when he wanted out.
Yeah.
Why would anyone not want to play with LeBron, not want to be on this team that goes to the finals every year? But he's starting to look like the smart one now, isn't he? Because like this team did have some issues last year and certainly had issues on defense at times. But
dude, is it kind of like he saw the sinking ship like it was going to be and decided just to play his way out of it?
Yeah. Like obviously he
kind of like a job.
Yeah. Like I think he couldn't have known obviously that they were going to necessarily trade him to Boston, but things really couldn't have worked out much better for him and for the Celtics because essentially
for Danny Ainge.
Yeah, because the Celtics essentially, in essence, crippled their biggest rival by doing this trade because IT just doesn't have it right now, and Jay Crowder wasn't that good either. By the way, he was
but he fit in with Brad Stevens' scheme though.
Yeah. But, I mean, you'd think he's like a 3-and-D guy. You'd think that kind of skill would translate to almost any team. Every team needs one of those guys or multiples, or just the entire team if you're the Rockets. But yeah, it's crazy.
I guess, let me see. What was going with this? It's just Kyrie, just the great player. I don't know what I don't know what the deal is with Cleveland now. I guess I think I know. I was gonna say would this go down in history like the Kyrie for IT, like the IT for Kyrie trade? Would this be known as? Does this have like that type of magnitude of like the trade, like the Herschel Walker trade?
I think basketball's version of that has got to be the Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett for 4 first-round picks trade, though, because that more than anything else set up everything the Celtics are doing now. And
but what about Scottie Pippen to the Bulls?
I mean, yeah.
Pippen. Yo, have you seen Scottie Pippen's face though? With his nose? My gosh, that is a honker. Yo, he makes me think of Shock G's alter ego, Humpty. That's what he makes me think of with that nose.
See, let's let our listeners decide which one of us is a giant nerd. There's a Hobbit character in Lord of the Rings named Pippin, and that's who I always think of when people talk about Scottie Pippen.
Oh, my girlfriend's she has like a cat at her parents' house named Pippin. I guess named after that character. And I always remember that cat's name because I think of Scottie Pippen.
See, there you go.
Sometimes I'll be like, "Hey, Scottie Pippen, how you doing?"
Just start calling the cat Scotty, and no one can figure out why.
Scottie Pippen. But yeah, I don't know. Like, where do the Cavs go from here? Do they go to the finals again?
I mean, I
can't see it.
That's kind of where I was going, asking because I can't even. Like I said, I have never seen a team do this. Remake, 80 or 75% of its roster or whatever mid-season. So there is no precedent for this that I can think of.
But if anybody can get to the finals after this like shuffling, like this great magnitude of shuffling, it's LeBron James.
Yeah. I mean,
if he can't do it, no one can.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like there's always the potential for LeBron to go nuclear in a series and win the dang thing all by himself with, you know.
He just about did it. He just about did it a few years ago when they played against the Warriors the first time around.
Yeah.
In the finals.
Yeah, I mean, so it is possible, and I think they were not going anywhere with that defense. Like, LeBron did hit that crazy game winner the other night in that game where they set the record for NBA threes all time, but they're not going to win many games giving up 138 points. That's just not going to happen. So something needed to change.
Look what happened with the Patriots. Like, your quarterback gives like 505 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions,
and
still loses the game.
Yeah, because you just literally cannot stop the other team. And you know, I really want to get more Twitter followers for our account. So listeners, follow us because I posted on there today that the Cavaliers basically did what I do in Madden franchise mode when I got frustrated, just trade away half the team. I remember like getting mad one time because my quarterback threw 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl and I lost. So I just traded my quarterback for the first overall pick in the offseason and drafted a new quarterback.
Wait, was that against the was that when I saw you lose to the Bengals?
Was that like the kick return for the touchdown or something?
I don't know, but I remember one Super Bowl you lost to the Bengals.
I remember one where the game was tied with like 1 second left and I gave up a kickoff return for a touchdown. That might have been that game. I also lost the Super Bowl on a Hail Mary one time. Anyway, man, this really has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's the charm of it. Let's do like a quick run through of like, I guess the games were quick. Like, what was it? Like, it was Jacksonville, Buffalo. After over 18 years since they made the playoffs, and they just laid like a stinker.
I'll be honest, I did not really watch that game.
I watched it until it just like when no one just didn't really score, and then when Jacksonville just basically scored like that late touchdown, I was like, yeah, I was rooting so much for Tyrod Taylor because I love T-Mobile. But the Bills just find new and interesting ways to screw him over, and I hope he like goes to a real team. I hope Casey Keenum like moves on from the Vikings and they pick up Tyrod.
Okay.
And then what's his name for the Vikings? What's his name? Quarterback.
Bridgewater,
and then Bridgewater ends up going to the Bills.
No, hold on. Side note. I completely forgot about T-Mobile. Is that the greatest nickname in sports? Is that the greatest active nickname?
Yes, and you know what? You know what's the biggest travesty? How has T-Mobile, like the actual like wireless company, not jumped on that?
No fucking shit. Why?
I know he's had commercials, but I don't remember a T-Mobile commercial.
T-Mobile executives, we know you're listening. Please reach out to us and explain why the fuck you haven't endorsed Tyrod Taylor.
What was that?
I am definitely not going to put that in our show because I'm sure we will get sued for that.
Like we would if we got endorsed and paid for it. Like we sell, it'd be like our sellout moment if we did.
Hey, by the way, have you tried Blue Apron? Literally, you hear Blue Apron ads on literally every podcast now. For whatever reason. That's the media space they've decided to advertise.
And if you like do sports videos on YouTube, one of the common ones is SeatGeek.
Yeah, you see a lot. Yeah.
Like Your Name Tree, he does like SeatGeek. KTO, he's also sponsored SeatGeek. I need to try try that and see how that works. It sounds interesting.
Sounds interesting. I don't live near enough any sporting events to really warrant it, but
close thing is the Panthers.
Yeah, true.
But then again, they're out of the playoffs. Dang.
But no, it's like Blue Apron, Casper mattresses, and so it's like all these products that I've never heard of. But
are these like Casper, like friendly ghost mattress, like you lay on it and you just fall right through it?
It's a non-existent mattress. That would be.
It's like you're laying on air, literally,
and then you just break something when you hit the floor,
like your hip.
Anyway, God.
So the Bills.
Anyway, T-Mobile. Write in, listeners, write in, and if there is a better fucking nickname currently in sports, let us know, because I can't think of one that's better than T-Mobile.
I still like AK-47.
Yeah, but he's not active anymore, is he?
No.
I'm talking like nicknames of active players.
Oh, okay. That's still is a cool nickname, though.
Because, like, if you go for all-time nicknames, it's going to be something from, like, the 1880s in MLB, right? It's going to be, like, some guy named, like, Three Finger Brown is great. Or it's going to be some guy. There was a guy, they talked about this.
Billy White Shoes Johnson. Like the kick returner. Was it for the Houston Oilers? Billy White Shoes Johnson.
They talked about this on Effectively Wild, which now I'm just blatantly stealing material from other podcasts. But brief mention. There was this guy who played on the Yankees in the 60s, kind of towards the end of Mickey Mantle's career, who would always pinch run for him, and his nickname was literally Mickey's Legs. Which is just amazing. Anyway, seriously, write and tell us if there's a better nickname in sports than T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Of active players.
T-Mobile.
Anyways, so that happened. The other one that I want to highlight from round one, because I think this is proof that there's some sort of Red Sea parting happening for New England, because everyone kind of was looking at the AFC and thinking it was going to be the Steelers or the Chiefs that were going to have sort of the best chance of knocking off the Patriots.
Oh, the Tennessee Titans.
And their first round game against Tennessee, it was a 28-3 situation that happened there, where just a crazy second half rally by Marcus Mariota and that running game with Derrick Henry.
And then the defense rose up and shut them out in the second half.
Yeah, which you would not think the Titans defense would be capable of anything close to that.
They actually have a decent defense They actually had a decent defense this year. Just the offense was just inconsistent. And then Mariota was balling with the hamstring.
Yeah.
It's they just weren't really a potent offense. The rookies, I guess, weren't really picking it up as well and all.
It was a real load of malarkey.
He's gone! Wait, it's Mike Vrabel, man. Mr. Goal Line.
Yeah. I was going to say, greatest.
Can he, come in with shoulder pads and then, go in, if they
play receiver?
And just play receiver, be tackle eligible?
Dude,
that's all they need. That's all Mariota needs. He needs that weapon there.
That's one of my favorite trivias ever. And I think something that's kind of, you wouldn't remember unless you were watching a lot of football back then, but Mike Vrabel is statistically the greatest receiver of all time, because he has 6 career catches for 6 touchdowns, and that's it.
Oh, so he never dropped one.
He never dropped one. There was never an incompletion on one of those plays. They got every single one. Gronk, Mike Vrab Gronk.
Oh God. Remember when they were trying to, or
Mike Gronkle.
Remember 2 years ago they were actually trying to have JJ Watt just go out and catch passes in the goal line?
He did do that.
Yeah.
And he was good at it. I remember that wonderful, there was a really great supercut. Not a supercut. That's not what a supercut is. There was a really great isolated camera on Watt where they showed him, he got a huge sack to force a 4th down or whatever. It was one of those games that Titans just demolished somebody, where JJ Watt basically just demolished someone all by himself. And he gets a sack, he gets up, He goes and sits on the bench for about 30 seconds, and then the Texans immediately got a huge gain all the way down to the goal line, and he was like, oh shit, I'm in the goal line set, and he had to immediately get back and run back onto the field to go score. Man, he is a great player, and it's very sad that he sat out.
He's a good guy, too, like when he raised all that money in Houston.
Yeah, I'm overly critical of him just because I find his personality annoying, but he's a good guy.
He kind of like has that feeling of a bro, don't he?
Yeah, but he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a great player. Like, man, I wish he was on our team.
He absolutely deserves to be man of the year for all the stuff that he did for the charities down there in Houston. That was really outstanding.
Much better than what he did. A lot better than what Houston did. Like for that first week of football, when they just absolutely crap themselves on the field and like they got demolished that first game. The thing to try and keep them away from all that, and then like they just like show like a sad sight of football instead. So,
okay, we can move on from. I don't even know how we got to JJ Watt, but so that game happened. So the team that was more capable of beating New England. I guess we'll just go AFC and then NFC, and we'll break it down that way.
Yeah. I think that was like one of the most exciting games I saw, like in the playoffs, like that Titans game. The Titans just coming back. I love that. I love Mariota, and I love Henry. Finally, they gave Henry like the ball, and they treated him like a bell cow running back. Like, and it just came at the expense of DeMarco Murray being hurt.
We buried the lead. Mariota completing a touchdown pass to himself. I'll see if I can find a link to this and put it in the description.
Better than half the receivers they got on the team.
I'll put a link to this play in the description if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you have, but watch it again because it's hilarious.
And then he dove into the end zone.
Yeah,
didn't he do like a somersault or something in the end zone?
That is, in my opinion, the best kind of highlight is the one where someone describes what happened in the play to you, and you're like, how the hell did that happen?
How do you do it?
How you just say Marcus Mariota completed a touchdown pass to himself. It sounds like
it sounds like something like a cartoon, because I remember one time like an episode of Doug Chalky Studebaker would like call his own play, and then he just threw the ball up in the air. He ran it around the offense and defensive lines, ran his own route and caught it, and he almost scored a touchdown.
Yeah. It was like that. It was like a cartoon, but oh man. But okay, so those were the wild card week games. The divisional,
like the Atlanta, and so we're doing AFC first.
Yeah, the divisional round came along, and
the Patriots and Titans.
We had Patriots and Titans.
Patriots were a real team.
To be honest,
crushed the Titans.
To be honest, I really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to that game either, because it was just a very routine New England playoff blowout.
I paid attention to it because it was like the one game like my girlfriend was actually like kind of talking some trash to me because like
she's a Titans fan.
Because she's from Nashville, and she was rooting for those Titans, and she had something to gloat about with when they scored that first 7. But then like when we ran like those 2 touchdowns together, and then like she fell asleep, and then we eventually just ended up like winning like 35-14. And she was kind of mad because she's like, y'all always win. Like I'll never see like my team like win and stuff. I'm like, they got good pieces. I guess she's just like tired of the the Titans like not measuring up, and then the Patriots keeping on. But
I mean, that'll kind of build towards our larger point with this segment, but
it was kind of like when what was it, the divisional round? Like, it made me think of like that few years ago with the divisional round. Remember when the Broncos played the Patriots when they had Tim Tebow? You knew the Patriots were gonna beat them.
It was not. Yeah,
it was kind of like that.
It was a very fluke, and you think about it. That game, the game where Tebow threw for 316. And all that was a very Pittsburghy kind of game, wasn't it? Because they played down to what was. I'm gonna say it. That Broncos team was not very good. It just wasn't. They had a great defense.
They ran the triple option.
But that's all that can really be said.
And they had a great kicker. Matt Prater was like kicking like 50, like a high 50, like 60-yarders and stuff.
So many things had to go right for the Broncos to even have a chance of winning games because of how fucking bad Tebow was.
I'll never forget when I saw like a regular season game between them and the Chiefs. It was like a 7-6 game.
I remember that.
And I was like,
and he ended up winning that game, I think, right?
No, they lost.
I watched the whole
thing. It was like one of the most boring games I ever watched.
But it's like there's been some revisionist history about that now. Go back. Just look up some of those box scores from the games that Tebow started. He was bad at football.
Remember when he was like 2 for 10 in one game?
Yeah, it was like shit like that. And like people talk shit on Bortles now. Bortles can complete an NFL like 15-yard out. He can't do it consistently, but he can do it. Tebow couldn't do it at all. Like, he literally could not make routine NFL quarterback throws.
You know, the only thing and the main thing that bailed him out was Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah. And even that play, that was Demaryius Thomas. Like, 85% of that play was Demaryius Thomas. Anyway, I fucking hate Tim Tebow. Anyway, the point is...
Is this baseball thing still going? Or did he quit baseball?
He got a spring training invite from the Mets.
Oh, cool. They're doing it for PR stuff.
Of course.
Anyway...
So
you mentioned Steelers. So perfect transition to, how about them Steelers? How about it, Yenzers?
What happened, man?
You said it. They played down to their competition.
Has that squad punted away? How many winnable games has that team just punted away due to just kind of just like incompetence in moments?
They were looking
bad play calling and
they were, as a lot of people have said, including Your Name Tree. They were looking way too ahead. Yeah. They were like, oh yeah, we're going to go to we're going to go to Foxborough. We're going to kick their butts from here to Timbuktu. And we're going to go to the Super Bowl. We're going to win it. And,
let me win a Super Bowl with you.
Oh my gosh.
Not likely.
But man, but the thing is, all that talent. How you have all that talent and blow it the way they do? They should, can you imagine if the Patriots had that type of receiving core?
Give Tom Brady fucking
Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant,
Bell.
And Juju Smith-Schuster.
And Le'Veon.
All of them.
What? I just can't. I cannot fathom.
Dude, can you imagine having Le'Veon Bell and can you imagine having Le'Veon Bell and James White in like a shotgun split or something?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Who's gonna catch it?
Matchup nightmare.
And if you think about it, the only reason Pittsburgh even had a chance in kind of the late stages of that game was that Antonio Brown
single-handedly kept them in the game.
Did almost the equivalent of draining full court three, like a full court three. You know what I mean? He just came up with the most ridiculous catches, and they just kept Roethlisberger was just kind of throwing it down the field, which is what they do, but you know what I mean? They essentially needed 3 or 4 .01 percentile kind of plays to even stay in that game because it was so bad. And
they also had some questionable play calls too, like those 2 4th down ones, a jet sweep, and then they got stopped, and then hey, let's do a play action, and then throw an incomplete pass.
Their clock management was not great.
And the ball placement and stuff that led to turnovers, and
so it's all of those things are combined, and
I mean, I'm just upset about the Steelers just wasting all that talent, because on paper they had the best offense in the league easily. I mean, they should have at least been to one Super Bowl by now.
And I mean, you do have to. So, one of the interesting stats that I remembered going into that game was that because everyone else was kind of looking forward to the Patriots-Steelers matchup. What they said is
going to be a good one.
The last few years, the Steelers' big three of Ben, Le'Veon, and Brown, or I guess just Le'Veon and Brown specifically,
the big B's.
They said that they had basically never played the Patriots where they'd had all of those guys healthy at the same time. And so it was kind of we're really looking forward to seeing what they could actually do.
Well, they're going to have to wait again.
They're going to have to wait again because they lost.
How do you overlook the Jacksonville Jaguars after they kicked your butts big time in week 5? How?
I think maybe they saw
they thought it was a fluke.
I think maybe they saw how bad Blake Bortles looked in that first playoff game, and they were just like, "Oh, we got this." But
you're not like your offense is not playing against Blake Bortles; it's playing against Jalen Ramsey and them and Calais Campbell.
Yeah, I don't.
Blake Bortles, all he has to do is make sure he doesn't spontaneously combust when he's getting ready to unload the football.
I can't justify it, man. It's messed up.
And he played well. Wait, what? You can't justify what?
I can't justify how bad they were.
But it's like he made the plays when he needed to, though.
Yeah,
he did. Like I give him credit. Like, and then in the next round, he made some plays that he needed to.
Yeah,
but it's just one of those things where, like, Pittsburgh, that should have been their game to win, but they just underperformed, and then they let it slip, and then I honestly felt like the better team won, like the better playing team won.
Yep. And that's what it ultimately always boils down to, right? Is it's who's playing the best, and that is a team that routinely plays down to their competition, routinely kind of maybe doesn't quite all the way show up in big games and all that stuff, and you can't do that. Man. You just can't do that.
Yeah, do it.
So
are we talking so we're staying with the AFC AFC Championship.
So AFC Championship,
man, that was a thriller, wasn't it?
That's
I got that Giants feeling all over again.
It's so funny. It's not even so much us as Patriots fans, and I think it's because we were just so traumatized by Eli Manning that a weird thing happens in these.
And Coughlin did.
A weird thing happens during these Patriots comebacks where we're always convinced they're going to lose, but everyone else is always convinced they're going to win.
Yeah, even my girlfriend's like, "Don't worry, they're gonna be fine," in her sarcastic voice, but she knew they're gonna be fine. I'm like, "Shut up! No, they're doing terrible, and I don't see it going anytime too soon." But I just kept on watching. I
think of that scene from the Matrix where Agent Smith is about to kill Neo. He's holding his face up in front of the train, and he says, "Hear that, Mr. Anderson? That is the sound of inevitability." And
wow.
When you're watching the Patriots
deep.
When you're watching the Patriots march down the field and just seeing how the defense gets gassed, and then I don't understand how he does it. I really don't. Tom Brady's the best ever.
Now, people say, like, the referees and stuff. I will give you, like, that one towards the end of the first half. I thought that was a terrible one. That wasn't really pass interference. But, like, I'm pretty certain they were holding us all game that we were probably bound for. And plus, they probably threw us a ball because our best player got taken out the entire game. So, like, you took out, like, our best offensive player outside of, like, Brady. It was, like, incidental contact. He was trying to go for the ball and stuff. I apologize, Barry Church. I had, like, some bitter feelings towards you, but I saw it again in, like, full speed, and it's a good hit. Y'all just made contacts with each other's helmets, and that's a textbook call. But I guess I'm just want Gronk to be healthy for a Super Bowl for once. But
yeah. We rewatched the play before we started recording, and
I apologize, Barry Church.
It's a style of play that I don't like because I think a lot of times you turn your body into like a cannonball to hit someone, and then they just kind of spin and bounce off of you. I see that a lot. And I don't understand. I don't get where loading up to just absolutely demolish somebody is necessarily the same thing as tackling them. But whatever. I sound like a suburban dad, a conservative suburban dad complaining. I sound like a conservative suburban dad complaining about showboats.
You're a suburban cat. Like you're a You're a suburban dad to your cats.
That's true. Well, this isn't really suburbs, though.
You grew up in a suburb, though.
That's true. Anyway, this is all
but the Jags fans and like football fans and Jags players like complain about the referees and stuff. Like, yeah, bad calls happen, and people are saying like this conspiracy about the Patriots like paying off referees. But here's the thing, if that was the case, here's one thing we couldn't pay off for. Jacksonville give up a 3rd and 18 to Danny Amendola.
Well, To be honest,
or Blake Bortles like not coming down the stretch and getting a couple first downs to seal the game.
And I don't know. I mean, you can accuse me of being a Patriots homer. That's fine. But I generally feel like I'm able to, especially in retrospect, kind of evaluate things rationally. I felt like you could look at those two individual calls and kind of nitpick whether or not they really should have been called.
I didn't like the first. Like the first one wasn't that great. No.
But overall, throughout the whole game, I generally felt like the refs kind of were letting them play on the outside.
They really were. On
both sides. Like, the Patriots corners were playing very physical too, and it generally seemed to me like there were several plays that I saw that I was like, oh, that's definitely PI, and then it wasn't called.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, and again, I want to say, like, going both directions, it just was a really physical game on the outside. And
how about that play?
And I think early on that really contributed to a lot of the struggles with the Patriots offense in the first half. Mm-hmm. And
then they had a 10-point lead, like, in the fourth quarter.
And, yeah,
and they couldn't protect it.
Yep. And all of that defense stuff is for naught if you can't get there.
Well, to be fair though, they lost like two like their main guys. Like they lost Miles Jack and they lost like another guy from their line. Like down the stretch. It was
you still got to be able to play 60, man, and your offense has to be able to move the ball.
And they didn't at the end. In the fourth quarter they didn't. But but the first three quarters they kept moving like the little like screens or that little roll out and then throw it to like the fullback or tight end.
And the guys on the Ringer NFL show, which is a very good listen if you want actual real analysis of football instead of what we're doing. But what they said is the Jaguars play calling, especially in the second half on offense, got very predictable. They had a set number of plays that they felt confident about. And they basically, for like 3 drives in a row, just tried the same thing. I mean, play action.
They don't really have like that much of a potent offense, though. So
yeah. What I mean is that they basically had about 3/4 worth of like stuff to do, and then it was at that point they started getting predictable, and that's when Belichick's defense kind of started to clamp down on them.
That's exactly how That's exactly how I play Madden. Actually, when I play my Ultimate Team, I'll do like a play action, and I'll roll out with my Kirk Cousins, and I'll like throw it to like my tight end or my running back.
Yep.
I basically played Jacksonville's playbook. That's my style of play. And then I'm screwed when I have my face a human opponent that can shut that down, and then I throw like an interceptions.
Dude, brief segment idea that I thought of and I forgot to write down, but we'll maybe do another time because we're pretty full up for this episode. But
playoffs.
We should go back to my old Madden franchise for the Eldrayans and look at the stats.
Oh man,
because like
D'Antonio Short,
and Jesse Terrell. At one point I had a season where my lead receiver had 53 touchdown catches and my quarterback had 100 touchdown passes, and my team went 19-0.
Didn't Tom Brady or like somebody or was it Tom Brady or was it Donovan McNabb that had like a career-ending injury?
It was McNabb. I remember that. That was like the second year of that universe. So
what you need to
in that universe, D-Mac had a career-ending injury in like 2007.
Dang. What you need is you need to find a way to make your have that jersey made online and shipped to you, and you can just rock an Eldrazen jersey.
Oh man, a Jesse Terrell,
man.
That would be so funny.
I'll be your D'Antonio Short.
Oh man,
but man,
I'll have to. I'm sure there's a company that makes like custom football jerseys or something. I'm sure for a lot of money, but
I want a custom Miami Sharks jersey with Willie Beeman on the back.
That would be great. I'm sure somebody's made that.
I saw someone wear like a Bear Air Academy jersey with Smith on the back. Like it was an actual jersey, from the show.
I like it.
But the close out the AFC Championship game, that was a nail biter, and I have newfound respect for Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think.
Jalen Ramsey's cocky, but he's also confident. I see him going places and leading that team next few years.
I saw a person that I won't name, but definitely a denizen of what I would call conservative parent Facebook, who was complaining about Jacksonville being, quote, showboats or something, or being whiny. And I just didn't see it. They were like, look, yeah, they got us. You know, we're not sure how it happened, but, you know, but it's like, because like, what else do you expect a team to do going into that situation where they're clearly not favored at all? Do you expect them when they're talking to the media to be like, yeah, they're going to kick our asses? Like, how else are you supposed to respond? No, we think we're going to win.
You play to win the game.
No one called, okay.
Hello?
In 2007, when Eli Manning and the Giants guys got off the plane wearing all black because they were showing up to bury the Patriots dynasty, no one called them showboats or crybabies.
And like in the meantime, like we're like the evil empires in the Super Bowl again.
Yes. All right. Man, this is taking a lot longer than I thought.
It's okay. So it's playoffs, man.
We'll try to do quick hitters on the rest of these. So we're gonna go through the NFC. Falcons, Rams.
Rams underperformed. Atlanta showed up with their defense and made enough offensive plays that he needed, and they did it. And I still think Sarkisian is still like hitting the sauce with his play calling. Yeah. Next,
the McVay magic ran out. The male model Sean McVay,
30 years old. Man,
what a life!
What a life.
Okay.
Saints and Panthers.
Saints-Panthers. That was a real interesting one because
anybody who's not Devin Funches or Greg Olsen cannot catch the football.
One of those games where if it was a 65-minute game, the Panthers would have won easily. But it was just like they ran out of time.
They missed. They had a lot of miscues. It's like, yeah, we are going to like stop the run game. Oh yeah, by the way, we're just gonna let Drew Brees just carve us like a jack-o'-lantern. That whole game.
It is Drew Brees, though.
It is Drew Brees. But it is Luke Kuechly. It is Thomas Davis.
But like that throw that he made to Michael Thomas to ice the game, that's one of the dirtiest things I've ever seen anybody do with a football. Other than maybe Doug Baldwin's shitting on the football celebration in the Super Bowl a few years ago.
Gosh.
But like, that was, you can't defend that. There's no defense for that throw.
Dude, he threw them open. Like, they were covered, and Drew Brees just put it where it needed to go.
Drew Brees.
Every play.
Drew Brees. Man, Drew Brees might be the third best quarterback of all time. Like, we have been so unbelievably spoiled by this era.
Drew Brees needs at least like another like ring. Like he needed like at least another ring. It's like a travesty that you don't have more than one because of how good he is.
This was probably his last best chance at one, but we'll see though, because what they basically needed was they needed a miracle from the draft to kind of become a competitive team again because they needed so much help on defense, and they got one.
And then they also got Alvin Kamara.
Yeah,
so they actually got that run game they needed. So they were like the most complete as they were like since that Super Bowl run.
So they're not reliant on Brees to be 100% of their offense anymore.
Wait, random thought. Was Darren Sharper on that team?
Yeah, he was.
I'm not getting into that. You could Google him and stuff like that. We're not getting into that because like I've seen enough of that, and it just makes me sick to my stomach.
It's messed up. Anyway.
Oh, the battle divisional round. The battle of the birds.
Eagles, Falcons.
Two defenses, and then like Matt Ryan like going back to vintage Ryan form in the playoffs.
I think we got to go with that play calling too. That was Sarkisian, right? That was
Sarkisian hit the sauce yet again.
Yeah, that was bad. I don't think we really need to linger on that very much.
And then
that was just sad.
And Napoleon Dynamite like made just enough plays.
Yeah.
Dude, Nick Foles just looked like Napoleon Dynamite, as people say, man. I see. If you gave him those dorky glasses and you gave him like them curly hair BBs or something, that's totally him, man.
Dude,
all he's missing is Pedro, like that's class president.
See, the problem is,
and he's also missing a love interest, but he's probably married. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to. Actually, I really don't want to Google this. But I'm just thinking of that thing that Deadspin ran years ago during the original Foles run, where one of his teammates said in an interview that he had the biggest dong on the team.
Well, I mean, they do shower around each other, so they probably would know.
His teammates would know, but I just...
Plus, he's the goddamn quarterback.
Anyway, we really don't...
Being quarterback, he had magical powers, probably including that.
We really don't need to linger on my insistence on immaturity. Okay, the real main event is the best game of the playoffs, regardless of what happens in the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Vikings Saints.
Oh, for me, it was a great game, especially to be honest, I didn't really watch much of it because I saw the Vikings were in control, but then when I start watching the third quarter, it's okay, look, they just started scoring, started getting a little interesting, and then they just scored again. Next thing you know, oh my gosh, they're ahead. Then the Vikings go ahead again. Oh wait, y'all just left too much time on the clock for Drew Brees. Lo and behold, Lutz hits. They get him in field goal range. Lutz gets it. Oh, they've iced this thing. And then Marcus Williams just whiffed, and Stephon Diggs just goes all the way. And he I think someone was describing him what was his name? Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character in Jerry Maguire, Tidwell.
So this is the part where I admit to you that I've never actually seen that movie, which man. I feel like is sacrilege as a sports
all
fan.
it was is scene was he caught a touchdown. He got hit, and it was he got hit he scored a touchdown, but he was on the field for a while, so he was injured, I guess. But he got up. He was alert oriented. He got up. People were giving a standing ovation, I guess for catching a touchdown and for saying, "Hey, you're okay." And next thing you know, for he has this 3 or 4 minute celebration on the field, him holding the football and everything. Oh but so that's what made me think. But it was a walk off touchdown. So
but
I think the wrong team won. The wrong team won.
I have 2 thoughts about this. Thought number 1: this is maybe. And again, this is on the heels of last year's Super Bowl. This is my favorite win probability graph that I've ever seen in my life. I'm just going to walk through it here. It's all Minnesota for the whole game. At one point, Minnesota peaks at 99.5% to win in about the third quarter. All right, some stuff happens. It ticks back.
Yeah.
Then there's the Mark Ingram touchdown that brings it. That was the fourth quarter, about 4 minutes left. That brought New Orleans to 14, I believe. Oh no, I'm sorry. That put New Orleans ahead. So it swung it just 35% on that one play.
That dip, man.
So it went from all Minnesota down to the Saints. Then it kind of hung out in the middle for a while, and then Minnesota spiked again right when they kicked the field goal. And then it went back really hard after the. I believe after the New Orleans. I'm not sure what play this is. Oh, okay, yeah, that's the Kai Forbath.
Kai Forbath hit a field goal, and then Will Lutz hit a field goal.
Yeah, and then the Will Lutz field goal put it at. Okay, there it is. Yeah, it put it at 0.1% to win for Minnesota. Or I guess 99.9% for New Orleans. And then that play happens. And
then they win.
It's the second thought is
how
that's the football version of the Joey Bautista bat flip. Which is,
I'll give it up.
In my opinion, maybe it's not the greatest MLB playoff game of all time, but is maybe the greatest moment ever. For that franchise, especially because they just have had no success basically since they won the World Series in, I think, 93.
I don't know, man. Jesus hitting a grand slam for Boston. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Although, side note, go and fucking rewatch Game 5 of the goddamn World Series. That is the weirdest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life.
What, from this past year?
Yeah. Maybe that was a better comp for this game. The Saints-Vikings game is that game where Dodgers up 4-0 with Kershaw on the mound, lose, but not just lose, have 3 different 2-run leads that they immediately yielded back to just ridiculous 3-run homers and all of the crazy shit that happened in that game. And it was 12 to 11 or something in 12 innings. That's maybe one of the, maybe not even the greatest baseball game ever, but just the weirdest. Just utterly bizarre. Anyway.
No, you Darvish included.
Anyway, I watched the whole game with Amanda too, so we both sat there and we both literally just kind of like stared at each other in silence after that happened. Like, how the hell did that just happen? How?
It's gotta be like one of the greatest like moments I've ever seen in football.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't necessarily disagree with all of the countdowns that are saying it's the greatest finish ever, because like, apparently that's never happened too, by the way. There's never been a walk-off touchdown in regulation in an NFL playoff game ever.
I believe it.
There's been walk-off field goals, obviously. There's been touchdowns in overtime to win, like last year, but there's never been a walk-off touchdown with no time on the clock.
When you said like overtime, I'm still replaying that James White touchdown at the end.
Wame's jite.
Yeah. But then
the NFC Championship happened, and it was completely anticlimactic and almost
one guy
not
was saying,
worth.
there's one guy was saying the Minneapolis, your Nathan Tree had on his Twitter, like the Minneapolis Miracle last week. Then this week we're talking about here the Minnesota the Minneapolis Massacre.
Yep.
That's what made me think like the Saints would have been the rightful team to be in here, because they would have matched up better and would have had like a better offense to pick the Eagles apart.
It was
worst playoff game I saw all season.
It was really taking it back old school to back in the day when it seemed like the conference championship games were always kind of clunkers, or even the Super Bowls, I guess. But really not a whole lot else to say about it. It was pretty much the Vikings scored that first touchdown, and then it was just complete domination from that point forward.
How does that happen? Oh, well, I mean, I guess they can ask the Titans that. Oh,
there was a series of. How it happens is there's a series of plays throughout the game where the Vikings could have gotten back into it, and every single one went wrong. Because they had a chance to score right before the end of the first half. They fucked that up. I can't even remember what happened, because who cares?
You know what would have helped that situation?
And then in the third quarter, they had another chance to score, and that was another turnover, I want to say.
You know what would have helped the Vikings? Colin Kaepernick. He would have helped make plays.
I don't even know what to say anymore. I mean, he could have helped so many playoff teams. Honestly, dude, Jacksonville.
Patriots struggle always against a scrambling quarterback.
I want to be as impartial as possible evaluating Kaepernick's football ability in retrospect.
He's got the ability. It's just people just don't want him on their team because a PR backlash.
Well, what I mean is that I think, and I want to tread very lightly here, but I feel like some of the people going out in support of Kaepernick are trying to make the argument that he was a great, great, great NFL player, and he was good.
Yeah,
he was
good.
not.
He wasn't great. He wasn't no Montana, but dang, he wasn't no Blake Bortles either.
But to be honest, how many football teams this year could have benefited from having a top 15 quarterback?
Think about this. The Colts started Scott Tolzien.
Yeah, Tolzien's got you green.
Oh my! Yeah.
No, but. Yeah, it's
still wondering how.
And I think Jacksonville specifically, because Jacksonville kind of needed someone who could have been a playmaker, who could have pushed the ball down the field.
Can you imagine option with him and Fournette?
That's what I'm saying. And the other teams were set at quarterback, but yeah, the Eagles. Who knows? I mean, they seem like they've got their man, but yeah.
I mean, Foles knows the system, and he does have skill. So yeah. I'll give him that. He
really looked.
He's like Frank Reich in this, man.
Yeah,
he's like Frank Reich in this.
He looked horrible in the first few games that he played, terrible, and everyone was just like, "This team is done," and they proved everybody wrong. So good on them.
So what happens if he wins the Super Bowl? Is Wentz just chopped liver at this point?
No. They're not going to get rid of Wentz. No way. If they win the Super Bowl, he's going to go sign a $100 million contract.
With the Bills.
With somebody. Somebody's going to go pay him. And I was saying that during the...
they're still going to probably still pay him. Even if he does lose, they'll probably pay him like $70 million instead of $100 million.
But you know what I mean? If he goes out and he tears it up against the Patriots...
Oh, he's going to Flacco somebody.
Yeah. He's going to get the Flacco contract.
Is he going to celebrate at McDonald's?
But... Because I was saying the same thing about Bortles, too. If Bortles had pulled it off, if Bortles had actually finished off that game against New England... Then
it would have officially been his team, no questions asked.
And they would have given him the Flacco contract, and it would have been about as undeserved as the Flacco contract.
Flacco actually had ability. Bortles...
He has never shown it other than the 2012 postseason. He did, I will say, he did play pretty well in the Julian Edelman touchdown pass game. Flacco was pretty good in that game.
But they were up 2 touchdowns on 2 occasions on us.
But it's also not really a fair argument to be like, well, he was really good in that one game one time. He's been in the NFL for a long time, and he has been mostly not good. What do you want to bet?
The Deion Branch effect?
Yeah. I really don't want to pile on the guy now, but what do you want to bet that Malcolm Butler will just somehow be way worse with some other team next year, with the Saints or whatever?
I mean, I want him to go to another team. I want him to go to another team because Belichick did him freaking dirty, and he should. Yeah. I don't want him to come back to the Patriots because that was pretty dirty, and that cost us a Super Bowl. At least it would have net us 50 less yards of giving up on passing yards. But yeah, he might go the way of Byron Maxwell. Remember him? Signed that big deal with the Eagles to be their number one be their number one corner, even though he was more of a second or third corner for the Legion of Boom, and then he just got burnt everywhere he went.
Burnt. Anyway, we don't have to go to the Super Bowl right now. That'll be probably a whole episode, probably just called therapy.
I will drop this nugget though. Congratulations, Eagles, on your very first Super Bowl victory, and Nick Foles. I gotta give it to him, man. He went from being in a football wasteland.
He almost retired.
Almost retiring to winning the Super Bowl MVP. You can't make this stuff up. So congratulations, Nick Foles. He does deserve the MVP. And Patriots maybe next year.
Well, who knows? But yeah, Foles is a very good football man and has a very big wiener.
But Bill Belichick for not starting Butler or not playing him at all. Belichick, Matt Patricia, go ahead and get fired in 2 years by the Lions, and arrogance of not playing your best players, and they would have helped you keep from getting your defense slaughtered all over the place. Because that's the only reason why they end up losing it. Special teams and defense. We own the offensive phase.
Yep.
They took care of their end of the bargain.
Doesn't that kind of remind you of what happened to James Harden last year in that weird, bizarre playoff game where he just decided not to play basketball suddenly? It had the same kind of weird... I mean, I know that was entirely Harden's responsibility, but you know what I mean? It had the same kind of weird feel to it where it was he might as well not have played in that game because he didn't do anything. He literally stood at half court and just passed the ball to teammates and didn't do anything. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen a professional athlete do. And we will just never know why it happened. And I think same thing with Butler. We're really never going to know what actually happened there.
Do you think they didn't want him to be a hero again, so they would be forced to have to ante up again?
I don't think so. My best guess would be either he he ran slightly afoul of one of Belichick's ridiculous Byzantine rules, or maybe he really was a lot more sick than he appeared and really wasn't in any shape to really play and be effective. But we really don't know. And
still better than Rose, still better than Benamosi.
Yep.
I mean, come on. They were playing Patrick Chung and Devin McCourty at corner. They haven't played. Cordy hasn't played corner in like 5 years. I mean, it's not even about stopping a team. It's just slowing them down. And they just, when you can tell there's like a few plays that you just know it just ain't gonna happen.
Yep.
Happen on that night. It's like, okay, you gotta stop on the fourth down. Nope. Oh, this long completion here. Oh, a wheel route to a running back for 60 yards and all that. I mean, you just knew it wasn't gonna happen.
Alshon Jeffrey coming down with that ball is kind of when I knew, even though that was actually pretty close to the beginning of the game. That was kind of the moment that I was like, this is their night, isn't it? Because it just seemed that way the whole night, that they just had a crazy, spectacular thing to answer every single time. And, really, when you think about
when it was for me, it was like the second half when, like, even they had time to discuss adjustments and stuff, they were still just getting gashed just as much, if not more. Yeah, that's when I knew. Like, when we started giving up those wheel routes to Clement, I was like, yeah, we're screwed.
But you know what? I mean, I would much rather lose. I mean, I don't know. I would much rather lose to, like, that sort of kind of Herculean superhuman effort than like some David Tyree bullshit.
Yeah.
Basically fluky BS.
Yeah, I agree with that. But here's the thing. It wasn't like Hercules, it was just the team just outworked us.
It was it was just great.
They just outworked us, and they just the better team won the game.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get mad at that. Game, like, as you say, game respects game. Like, Nick Foles played a great game. Like, Nick Foles refused to be a second-rate quarterback, and he delivered.
Yeah.
And the rest of the team stepped up and did their thing, and they did not morph back into pumpkins or anything. They kept riding high, and they played with confidence from beginning to end.
Yeah. Because there's sort of like, I think about like a poker analogy where like there's losing because your opponent just straight up outplayed you, and then there's losing because your opponent, you did literally everything right, and your opponent had one out in the entire deck, and he just happened to draw it. And that's the one that's always frustrating, is that sort of thing, because like there's no.
It was like a game of Magic. It's like you're playing blue. Yeah, this person this person's like aggro. Like, they seem like they're like jumping on you, move like with Brady, moving the ball and all that stuff. But then but you know how Blue's strategy is just to stabilize,
play the long game,
and play the long game. It's like just hanging in there until you exhaust yourself, and then they come in and do the checkmate.
Yeah,
it was like that. It was like they were a couple steps ahead, regardless of what we threw at them. Yep. So okay, like in a couple turns right now, this big card you lay down, I'm just gonna like manually key or something. I mean, it had like that type of feel. What you can do, I can do just as good, if not better. I mean, and imagine if we had 12 points in the first half. Can you imagine? Like, their defense actually slowed Brady down, which probably made all the difference. Because if they didn't slow him down in that way, think of what their score would have been. Anyway,
we're gonna dive into that at some point soon in more length.
Oh yeah, did you hear the news today
about Jimmy G?
Jimmy G got paid.
He got freaking paid. I guess if you took the Matt Flynn contract and multiplied it by 5, like the 5 games that he started or whatever, you get the Jimmy G contract. So fair enough. I mean, I guess there's no one who doesn't think he's the real deal at this point, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Like, Garoppolo is not Flynn because he actually did do like a 5-6 game tryout with his team.
True.
And like actually like elevated that talent. I mean, they were like 3rd, 4th rate like receivers, and he just elevated them, man.
I'm just thinking. I always go back to the Matt Flynn game just because he looked amazing in that one game. I mean, he looked like he was worthy of that contract, and I think everybody at the time thought Seattle got a bargain, basically.
And then Russell Wilson just overshadowed him.
Yep. But yeah, crazy. One more thing before we go.
Oh man, here it is.
We have to talk about the new Chris Paul State Farm commercial.
Oh man.
More specifically, we have to talk about James Harden's face.
And Trevor Ariza's enthusiasm.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why.
But seriously,
dude, I was listening to that song earlier on the way to work, and I was checking in the back seat to see if Trevor Ariza was actually back there.
It's a great song.
That's a great commercial.
But seriously, because there's always tend to be in every shot. There's always kind of a focal point where your eyes tend to fall, and obviously in that shot, you're looking at Trevor Ariza because he's the thing that's moving in the screen, and our eyes are drawn to movement. But watch that commercial and just watch James Harden's face the entire time. He gets a look on his face when Trevor Ariza goes in for that glory note that is pretty much my favorite thing I've ever seen in my life. It makes me so happy how horrified James Harden looks. And because I guess they didn't really quite get there with any of the other little vignettes in the ad, but it seems like James Harden's in-universe character is that he's kind of the serious grump, and his other teammates are kind of the fun-loving jokesters. And I love this, and I would watch a sitcom of this. Please make it happen. I want grumpy James Harden.
I mean, he's gonna look that way as long as he has that beard.
Right, yeah. I think maybe that's what it is, that I miss my beard, and so James Harden is my spirit animal.
Yeah.
Just enjoy James Harden's face in that ad. It's my favorite thing ever.
And sing along. And sing along to the Backstreet Boys, man.
Be Trevor Ariza, but look like James Harden.
And be the conductor of Chris Paul.
Yes.
And if the Backstreet Boys do have a Twitter page, flood their Twitter page and show your appreciation for them and that song. Thank you.
Preferably after flooding our Twitter page.
Yep.
Just a general request.
I was gonna say they flood our page and then they flood to them, and they'll tell them that we sent them, and then they'll invite us to be on a track or to make a cameo in the next music video. I don't know.
Oh hell yeah! I'm so in. I'm so in for that. So, I can't dance, and I definitely can't sing. So it'll be really fun.
I mean, you wouldn't have to dance or anything. What if the cameo was you took a hollow guitar with nothing in it, with some some baby powder or something, and you and the cameo was you smashing it on my head or somebody else's head, like they do in pro wrestling.
That would be great. But anyway, one more thing. This will truly be our last thing. Our podcast email got an email, and it's from a Ryan Ellison. And I'm 90% sure this is a scam. But Ryan, if you are a real person and you are listening, I apologize for thinking you're a scam. Please let us know that you're not a scam. But it says, ran across you on SC, I assume that means SoundCloud, a little bit ago. Keep working. Really see potential. Had to like and sub man for real. Do me a favor, return the love. And then it's what appears to be a YouTube link that I am definitely not clicking because I have no way of knowing that is not a virus link. So, so yeah. Hi, Ryan.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things.
If you are real, you want to be on the show.
It's one of those things, though, that I looked at. We don't have any subscribers on YouTube, or we have one subscriber, which is just one of my other YouTube accounts. So it's not there. And I looked at our subs on SoundCloud, and we do have 5 people following us. I think 2 of them are people that I know. I can't see who the other people are. I can't figure out how to do that. So theoretically, one of those people could be our buddy Ryan. Could be our buddy Ryan. Oh no. We're gonna call him Buddy Ryan from now on. Hey, Buddy Ryan.
Is he like gonna punch us on the sidelines because we disagree with his play calling?
I really hope not. He sounded like a really nice guy. I don't wanna be too mean to him.
Dude, like that I saw that clip with the use of oils, like Buddy Ryan was like trying to punch somebody or something like in the sideline.
Jeez.
One of the other coaches because it was just like a rift there.
I'm not your buddy, Ryan. I'm not your Ryan, buddy. Anyways, what my hope is that eventually we'll graduate from getting, 'cause, we had a bit on our early episodes about scam emails, so it's kind of cool to get what probably is one now. But what's funny is my hope is that eventually we'll graduate from getting scam emails to getting real emails from real people.
Yay!
So, hey, if you're out there and you're a real person who is maybe good at writing emails that do not sound like they're scams, please email us. I would just add a word of caution. Really, the thing that threw me off was the link. Please just don't include a hyperlink because I'm just not going to click the hyperlink. I have no way of knowing what that is. Sorry.
Hey, please, Sam Hinkie, please send us an email.
Yeah, Sam, if you're out there, buddy, old buddy of mine that I have not spent the last 8 months of my life eviscerating at every opportunity, please reach out to us. I think one of the tweets from our account just says Hamsinky.
I remember that.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to start tweeting from that account more.
Word.
I sort of like the idea of Twitter as just this weird empty room full of all of the people in the world, except everyone thinks it's an amateur comedy club and they have the mic.
Yeah.
That is definitely, I think, the best version of Twitter. And maybe not the version where threatening nuclear war is somehow not a violation of the terms of service. Well, let's adjourn for now. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Like, I would hug you if I could. But I don't know about this guy.
You're not gonna hug me?
No. I mean, like, I would hug all these people, but like on contrary to you, which is, how do you say it?
Oh, I said, yeah, I wish I could just hug you all, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, but someday.
Because Lane Staley is my hero.
All right. Peace, love, and happiness, man. Everyone.
Take it easy. Cavs players who are no longer on the Cavs, take tonight, get some sleep. Tomorrow's a new day. You're still in the NBA. Things can only go up from here.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye, guys.
And I'm making love to my biceps right now.
Yeah, D actually has has some muscle mass to work with, and he is currently making out with it.
And hairy armpits.
Hairy armpits? I've never heard of that guy. What team does he play for? No, he obviously plays for the Cavs now, right? He's going to fill out that last roster spot. Hairy armpits.